Welcome to The Leaders Who Care, a podcast powered by Dynamis Group. We are here to give the stage and support to those committed to create a positive and lasting impact, way beyond the profits and margins, the leaders of the world who care for others and serve a bigger purpose. Join us on the journey of creating a better, more caring world. And now to your host, Marian Temelkov.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited in this fantastic day to welcome a very special guest. Someone that you also very successful in everything she does, also being referred as the Wonder Woman. And it comes from a very special, dear country of mine, Bulgaria. And she's joining us from a great city, Sofia, today. Viktoriya Blazheva. Viktoriya, she's the first Vice President, Strategy and Business Officer at UniCredit Bulbank. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Marianne, for the great words. For the comment on the Wonder Woman, I can only say two words, I wish. But you should always try for the best, yes?
I love that attitude, and this is the first lesson of today. No matter what you do, make sure you give your best. That's what a great way to start. As every one of you knows, we have a mission. This is not just a podcast to advertise anything. Our mission is to actually give stage to the most caring leaders from every country of the world. So this is a mission that will take years, and we want to give stage and share their success, but also provide a platform to accelerate and inspire care. And today, would love to hear your story, Viktoriya, of how did it started, and how did you end up to where you are? Was it the vision? It would be great to just hear the major milestones of your journey.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I want to say that I listened to some of the past episodes of the podcast, The Leaders Who Care, and I have to say that you have an amazing guest list. You have had the co-founder of Reebok, you have had the CEO of Starbucks, so I can only be really inspired to be invited. And in fact, to tell you the truth, as I mentioned in our previous discussion, 2020 was the year when I had the most discussion. And I met so many new leaders that I'm completely inspired despite this terrible sickness that has come to us, this terrible pandemic. But I'm truly inspired by the fact that I met quite a lot of new leaders. And frankly, to tell you, because you're asking me where I come from rejection. I come from rejection because in 2020, I was rejected. And it was a great thing that happened to me, that I was rejected. And this is one of the lessons for me that I will try to keep also in the future to come. So I work in the largest financial institution in Bulgaria. And as you mentioned, I also have some side hustle. So I have a YouTube channel. I'm an amateur doodler. I have a blog, and I try to express myself through these channels. But what was really important for me in 2020 was getting out of my comfort zone, making, like in the entrepreneurship world, it's called a pivot. And I made a pivot and I was rejected. So I was in my field. I've been in communications for more than 10 years. It's a little bit cocky, but I'm quite good in what I do in communications. And I decided that it's time to try something new. And what is amazing is that I got support from great leaders that I told you that I work with, and I applied for a new job in a new field, like trying something completely new, and I got rejected. And one might say, oh, I didn't make it, so I keep on doing it, whatever. But then this kind of inspired me, and I have to thank our leaders who rejected me, because they selected the proper person for the job, and then they gave me an opportunity to try another job. So to our listeners, because I would like us to be really practical. Nobody is going to give us anything like this. We just have to go and ask for it, grab it, try for it. And even if we get rejected, which happens sometimes, we need to try again. So we need to try something new. So this is the only thing that distinguishes the leaders from people who don't achieve that much, is that the leaders really get out there, try, with the risk of really failing. So it sounds like a cliche, but I lived it in 2020. So I'm super happy that now I'm doing what I do. I help our top management with the strategy of the bank. And frankly, just if you allow me a comment here, I come from an institution which is sometimes considered as a dinosaur. And, people want to go to startups and do these things. There has never been a better time to go and try your entrepreneurship skills in an institution like ours. Because actually, these are the institutions that need the biggest change. And if you go there, first of all, you will get much easier because not too many people apply currently. But if you go there, you can really make a difference. So this is also my message. Look outside what is really mainstream and try to make your mark over there. So an entrepreneurship and rejection, you can say, is what got me here.
No, thank you for sharing that, Viktoriya. And how did you really pursue the career in banking? And just for, if you address a lot of the young generation Z that are starting out, that just want to try so many things, but they don't know what exactly they want to do. They have a lot of pressure from peers, a lot of pressure from parents. They live in the best of times, but at the same time, they're not fulfilled and happy often because they don't know exactly what they want to do, and there's not a lot of guidance for them. This because I'm a really great believer and supporter of the future and the young leaders like you are, and we just want to share really some practical advice from your experience. What worked for you, and what would be your advice to your 20 years old today?
Marianne, I want to ask you something. We are a little bit after 20, right? So we are not currently. Did you know what you wanted to be at 20? I personally didn't. I didn't. I was in university. I was studying economics. And then I went to become a journalist. So I worked in a very prominent newspaper here in Bulgaria, Capital Weekly. I wrote about financial institutions. I wrote about technology. And then I made a jump to the financial sector. And you know what I thought when I went to the financial sector? I said, oh my God, it's probably going to be so boring when going there. But okay, I'll try it anyway. My leader then, my boss there, really encouraged me. And I went there and I never had a boring moment at all. Never, ever, ever. And, the financial sector currently is like an undervalued real estate property. So we have a real estate property that people are not very much sure what to do with it, but it is undervalued because inside this property, you have a huge client base that you can work with. You have resources. You have teams. I've always said, because in big companies, always like cost cutting. When you look around, there are resources. And it's up to you to find those resources. So just again, to bring back to the entrepreneurship, there is nothing more than the current leaders in any institution like better than entrepreneurs. And with the spirit of the young people, it's fantastic to have this. And I want to point something. One of the reasons that I came to this podcast, I look at the Dynamics Group, the company that you founded, the values. And one of the values was trust. And this is one of the things that really gave me an opportunity in my career. And I believe that we owe it also to the next generation. When I started working as a communications officer, I didn't have an experience. So somebody, the CEO at that point, trusted in me. When I became a manager, I didn't have the experience. Somebody trusted in me. So this is a very key thing. Really give trust to the people.
I love that. And you know what? That's exactly what young people need today. And we as a group, as a company, more than 50% of our workforce is Generation Z. And we trust them. We give them an opportunity to try things they would never have done in most circumstances, because they have access to some of the most disruptive and successful leaders of the world. They're trying things, they're learning things. We are guiding them. Yes, of course, sometimes it's not easy because we get heavily targeted and you try and invest your heart and soul in developing, and sometimes they make a move. But we know that they will go and spread that care message wherever they go. And it's really that. And of course, the very important is to trust, take care of them when they fall back and they make a mistake, help them rise up. Oh, I love what you just saying.
So I wanted to show you, your podcast listeners will not be able to see that.
I see. It's trust.
So this is the trust equation.
Credibility, yes. Intimacy, self-orientation. Wow, what a great thing.
This is not an equation that I invented. This is something that I took. So this is an equation which is quite old.
Credibility, reliability, intimacy. Amazing. Absolutely.
So trust is really credibility of you as a leader. So as leaders, we need to learn constantly in order to get the credibility in front of these Generation Z. Then you also have reliability. Yes. What is reliability? Reliability is to do what we say we are going to do, walk the talk. It's super important. And then the last one is intimacy. This means the relationship that we have. Yes. And this is divided by self-orientation, which is basically the ego. When you are a leader and when you've had an experience, you build an ego. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, look, the reality is that if you don't have an ego, you're either at the very bottom and depressed, or you are at the highest possible level of state where nothing can actually disrupt you, and very few people are able to reach that. So anything in between, of course, the ego plays.
Yes, so we need to also work with the ego and sometimes also listen to the younger generations, what they are saying to us. By the way, did you know, I'm very affected by a current video that I watched recently, and probably some of your audience have watched it too, which is Greta Thunberg was in Milan this week, and she made a video about climate change, her topic. But in her video, what she says is like, you talk about green jobs, blah, blah, blah. She says, you talk about climate action, blah, blah, blah. The fact is, we need to open our eyes and see that sometimes we are seen as blah, blah, blah. And this is the reason to deliver more tangible results. This is extremely important. Otherwise, we are going to lose, we are going to lose the trust, the credibility, the relationship, the intimacy, and we are just going to stay with our ego, which is not useful whatsoever.
No, I love that. What you're saying, in order for this to work, and this trust to be continuously strengthened, you everything you do gotta culminate or produce results. So have these actions, and I think it's absolutely important. What about communication, Viktoriya? What role communication played in your success?
A huge role. And just to tell you, sometimes I create a vibe because have been in communications for so long that I'm super open and very communicative person. I'm a complete introvert. I can stay with myself for like hours and days and hours and days, and just deal with, do some stuff, analyze, write. But we have to work on that. So I really had to work on myself, work on how I communicate with people, try to listen more, which is something that I'm still learning, of course. And if I have to advise everybody, to invest in some skills which are soft skills, but very hard results depend on our soft skills. You owe it to yourself and to your cause to work on your communication skills and on your personal brand. And I repeat it, you owe it to yourself and to your cause, because you, Marianne, me, Viktoriya, and all the viewers of this podcast, we are all selling something. We're selling ideas, we are selling whatever, tangible goods or anything. We will be better in selling if we invest in our personal brand and in communication skills. So this is quite important, I would have to say. And if there is something that I would advise, just sign up for a class. By the way, you know what is one of the most successful, one of the most used MOOCs, these online classes which are available to everybody? It's about public speaking.
Wow.
Yes, it's an online class in Coursera or everywhere. I mean, you can Google public speaking course or whatever, and it's completely free. And you would say, Viktoriya has so much experience in public speaking. So I took the class. And it was fantastic because you meet with people from all over the world. They don't know me. They just see me. And you start interacting with them and you start convincing them in something, and you soon realize where are your weak points. It's very educational. I would recommend it to anybody to try. So if you want to care about yourself, invest in some communication skills, invest in how you present yourself, and this will pay off.
I love that. And what a great, really advice and insight that made a difference to you personally. What about the role of care? How did care impacted you or your career, your success? And what are your thoughts about care and business?
I think this is fundamental. So I don't think that there is anybody on your podcast who doesn't believe in care. I truly believe in that, and I'm blessed with leaders who also believe in care. But let me give you another perspective of care, if you allow me.
Sure.
When I was thinking about our meeting, I was thinking, when we talk about leadership, it's always about caring leaders who are speaking to the people, making them feel well and everything. But then I give you two examples. Jeff Bezos and the former CEO, the founder of Apple. So would you say that they were good leaders, good managers, people managers? I wouldn't. But they're super successful. And you know why? Because I realized that when you speak about care, there are different perspectives about this care that you can think about and that can lead you to success. Let me give you an example with Jeff Bezos. Since we are talking about communications, some years ago, In New York Times, if I'm not mistaken, an article appeared about the corporate culture within Amazon, that it was not as we would imagine it would be. And I'm sure that quite a lot of communication companies got a big fat check in order to fix that. Then again, you have all read about the CEO of Apple, that the previous CEO of Apple, that he was not very good in
Steve Jobs,
in people management, right? This is because Steve Jobs cared about one thing, and it was the product that he's going to deliver. He cared about the product most. So would you blame him? Well, no, you wouldn't blame him, because he cared about something that is really valid for the success of the company. So we are now, using the product. He cared about the product. I give you another example. Jeff Bezos. So Jeff Bezos, if you ask me what he cares about the process. You have heard stories about Amazon that they don't have meetings more than what you can feed with 2 pizzas, right? You have heard this story. So they care about the process. For instance, who here? I mean, I know that in the audience people have been annoyed by corporate meetings, right? Well, in Amazon, they don't want to be annoyed by corporate meetings because they care about the process, and they don't invite more than 8 people to the meeting. And that's it. So this is care about the process. Of course, you can also care about the people. Like you have these more and more examples of servant leaders, like the CEO of Microsoft, the CEO of Google, the current CEO of Google. I'm a big subscriber of the idea of servant leadership, but it is nothing bad to also show care about the product and about the process, like Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos do. So I just wanted to show you there are different perspectives about care.
I love that, and thank you for really highlighting this, because care is in many different forms, and that allows people to understand. So whenever you're in a situation where perhaps you don't feel very well because you're used to something different or you expect something different, it's in your mind. In often says, you could say, hey, maybe that's the case, but if you put yourself in the other person's shoes and say, they care about a product, and I understand that. I understand why they're acting in this way or working this way, because that is central to their way of working and what they're doing. So that, and of course, because of what they're doing, they're unlocking value and solving problems that concerns billions of people. Therefore, they get rewarded for that significantly, in the companies as well. But there's also other examples that you can have human-centric or servant leadership that actually is as equally, if not more successful. So here's the question I'm going to ask. And for me, my priorities are very clear. For me, God is first, before any process, product, and people and so forth. Then after that, everything follows. But, that's me. There's many different people that are trying different things. So, and here's the thing. So this is we see great examples of amazing success. Companies that are doing exceptionally well. Now, let me ask you a question. What about sustainability? That's one aspect, that you care about a product, you care about a process. But people may not feel sometimes very taken care of, or they have emotions, because we're humans. We act on emotions. Everybody acts on emotions, not often on our rational brains. So, and this is what I also see, that a lot of people quit, like after a year or two, they just want to do something different. And of course, there's no right or wrong. So if you look at those great examples that you just shared of large corporates, what are your thoughts? Which one do you think over time will be more sustainable and more resilient?
Yeah, it's a very hard question, no? I'm a believer in people. So my belief is that I'm a subscriber of the servant leadership model. So I believe that a leader, a good manager, should be able to provide the conditions so that the people can thrive. And what I have behind me. This is something that I put in my office, and I just have it here.
I love it.
This is something that I try to answer every single day. This is, I kind of formulated it when I changed my job into strategy from communications. So whom have I helped today? So if I can name the name of 1, 2, 3 persons that I helped, so my day was not in vain. If I cannot say whom have I helped, so I didn't do much of a job. I spoke like a couple of minutes ago. I spoke to a client of our bank, and she was not very satisfied with the service. But she has been with us for a long time, and hopefully she will stay with us for a long time. But the care is really to be open to receiving also the feedback. And whom have I helped today? Maybe I didn't help somebody, and I should listen to them, that I didn't do for them what was supposed to be done. And by the way, just to tell you, in my view, I took this from my managers. So I've seen my manager, and this English proverb, which is don't educate your children, educate yourself, because your children are going to look and behave like you anyway.
I love that.
I'm sure that you know it.
What a great lesson. We're addressing the parents. Parents, please educate yourself continuously if you want to have happy lives and enjoy the growth of your children. Otherwise, if you don't, you might not like what you see because you didn't fix it or improve it in yourself. What a great lesson.
The thing is, it's ourselves. And this is why I mentioned also our managers. If you see your manager, and especially if you are young, when you see the behavior of your manager, when they address a topic like this, then you do the same. So to me, this is, as you would say, the catalyst. So when you choose a place to work, check out who are the managers. It's no wonder that people say people are leaving managers. They are not leaving the company or the job. There is a book called 9 Lies About Work. It has been published by some Harvard scientists, if I'm not mistaken. So it's 9 Lies About Work. And one of the lies inside is that there is such thing as a corporate culture. I'm in communications for so long. I've been working on the corporate culture. I'm also trying now to support the corporate culture with our vision and strategy. But the fact is that every department has their own culture, and it depends on the manager. And this is why, to me, the key to a success of a company or to the decline of a company is the middle management. This is your key to success or to failure. If we are working in a company which is even small, from mid to large, it's middle managers. It's not the top managers. They might be phenomenal, but you've played this game when you were little, broken phone, right? Broken phone is when I whisper.
Oh, yeah, of course. When you say something, but when it...
And the last one is hearing completely different thing. And this is where middle management comes. So we should have a consistency in the messages. I have a funny story for that. So Sheryl Sandberg, who is one of the inspiring leaders of the world, she went to Europe, And I think the story goes that she went and she was expecting some kind of presentation or something. And they completely stopped using PowerPoint because somebody heard somewhere, sometime, that she hated PowerPoint. And she was like expecting to be presenting something. Nobody did that. And they told her, but it's because you forbid PowerPoint for everybody. And she said, I didn't forbid anything, you know. So yeah, when a broken phone starts, it's really a bad thing to happen. Not that I enjoy that much corporate presentations in PowerPoint all the time, but it's just...
they could be important, vital in sharing that message and communication. But what a great lesson as well to really multi-billion organizations that actually can make the difference between good to great or success and failure, as you mentioned. The middle management that have that core, right? Make sure that you got the message consistently, and it's super critical. What about your advice to companies that are the new wave, the creatives, the ones that are really starting out now, that have bold vision, that really make a positive contribution to the world with passion? You know, what are the lessons you would perhaps want to share or give from your experience, from your point of view, which may be completely different, but you know, it's what are your thoughts of what are the kind of advices they might learn from in their growth?
Well, you know, when you are now growing and you are in kind of your momentum, one might feel very full of themselves and stop taking feedback and advice. And what I see is that in the big organization, there are a lot of people who are willing to donate their time and their mentorship to younger organizations. And I've seen our deputy CEO was recently in one clean competition in which he discussed the business models of companies who are eco-entrepreneurs. Then I have other colleagues, for instance, who are dedicating their times to working with the NGO sector, because the NGO sector is currently going through a transformation also, which I enjoy very much, going into the social entrepreneurship part. And my colleagues are sharing their expertise with people from the NGO sector. So these are smaller companies which are starting just now. And to me, being open to such mentorship and advice, and the fact that people are really willing to share their experience, should be very should be a good incentive for the younger generation to just knock on the doors of the bigger ones and to just say, can you help me? You know, one of the things that we don't do is we don't go to people and say, can you help me? And this is a mistake, because in majority of the times people are totally ready to help us.
Well, what a great advice. Well, and for all the entrepreneurs and organizations, I truly believe if you don't ask, it is also saying from the Bible, you know, ask and it shall be answered, knock, the door shall be open. So it's very important to really be intentional and try out. The worst thing that can happen that somebody will say no. There's not really a big thing, but the positive and the flip side is significant help.
I want to give you a practical advice, which I give to myself. You know, I don't want to tell people. I want to give to our audience a practical advice. Go out and go to an event or to an activity or to a conference in which you know absolutely nobody. Really go out and just speak to the people there. You will be amazed how many new interesting people, how many new opportunities you may find. I give this example. Sometimes I teach personal branding and communication skills in different formats, and I tell to the people, this is one of the things that you can do for yourself. Go out and go to a place where you know absolutely nobody, and then what you do is you try to introduce yourself. Just check yourself with the peers, and you will definitely see a positive outcome. Every time I've tried it, every time I've met somebody new and interesting whom either I helped or they helped me.
What excellent, amazing, really advice, also for those organizations. So really, a lot of the things that we don't do are just maybe so close to us, but we need to take action and be intentional, be deliberate. I also have one principle for myself. When I don't know something, I go and find out who are the best in the field, and I ask advice from them. So be also very mindful when you talk to people, because a lot of people will give you advice from family, friends, but they may not be the best people to advise you. Just be, you can take the advice, you can listen to them, and you can listen to them. Doesn't mean you have to take their advice, and you just decide of what serves you. And also ask yourself, are they the best people to give me advice? I know I can trust them, but are they experts in the field I'm interested in? Could they give me some more? So, and if you go out and follow your advice and just knock on the doors of large organizations who've done it, who've made it, ask out specific, but prepare your questions. Be deliberate, be specific. What did you do when you were just starting out and had 10 people and you went to 1,000 or 100? What did you do at that stage? What was the challenge? Or something that is very particular for you, that and people that have done it, and they're one of the best in the field, that can answer this question. Because if you ask someone that hasn't done it, it's the advice, it's probably useless, because you don't know that they haven't done it.
One of the leaders, thank you for mentioning it, Marianne. This is fantastic that you said it. Ask the people who are expert. One of the leaders that I know once said, "Don't ever ask a person how to make $1 million if he or she herself hasn't made $1 million, because they don't know yet. It's because they don't know yet. Ask the people who have made it, depending on what your purpose is. And usually people are really willing to share their advice, their success, even their failures. I'm very open about my failures. I've had a very hard moment also as a manager, as a leader.
I want to hear about them, actually. What are the kind of failure, the key failure? Because this is, I think, a fantastic opportunity to share what didn't work for you.
Well, I tried many things with our team, my team that I worked with before, and then some of the things worked, some of the things didn't work. But the point is really to try new things. That's my point. So some of the failures, I wouldn't say it's a failure. It's just when you are a caring leader, and when you've done a job for quite a long time, let me say, is sometimes you need to allow yourself and to make yourself let go. And this is very important in order to make sure that the people that you work with as manager, they can fly themselves. This is what gives them wings. I give you an example. So our team is now doing a great job without me. So the previous communications team. So what would I do? Like, go and give them advice? No, you just let go and give it to somebody else to do the job. And then you go and do something new. One of the hardest things as a manager who cares, as somebody who is part of something, is to let go. But we need to make this happen. We need to let go in order to make sure that people develop. I've also had had occasions where in my experience, we parted with great people, with great professionals, just because there was not the right fit with the whole organization. But it's better to let go sometimes, even quite a lot of times to let go, so that people can really fly and develop and become better than you. So we just have to a little bit take back our ego and allow also other people to fly. But in the same time, one might say, okay, so move on. What you can do is try to go into another area, develop yourself, learn new skills. And this is something that I'm kind of obsessive compulsive learner. So I sign up for courses. If you need course or anything on anything, ask me. I can tell you probably where to sign up. So
we'll love that. In fact, what are the kind of top platforms you're using? You mentioned Coursera. What are the other kind of places that you're using as a resource?
So I started with Coursera, then it's edX, Udemy, but I would say try the courses of really elite university. There are so many possibilities for courses in elite universities because I don't want to disregard, individual good teachers like on Skillshare or Brilliant or other such platforms. Please, by all means, go and study. But when you study, when you have the opportunity from the comfort of your own home to study from the teachers in Harvard, in Stanford, in MIT, in whatever leading university, go grab this opportunity. Go grab this opportunity. And by the way, just to tell you, it's phenomenal how these leaders, these teachers are behaving. I've signed for many classes, and usually after the class, I find the email, the contact of the person who is teaching, no matter the institution, and I write them an email with some views, with my experience. I have always, and I repeat, always gotten an answer from no matter the institutions. And this is a phenomenal leadership approach. To them, I'm nobody. I took their class virtually. They didn't even meet me. But the fact that they respond to everybody, obviously, to whomever writes to them, is phenomenal. By the way, I'll give you an example of that. I made an online class in one university, and then the teacher of this class became my recommendation letter for my MBA program. So you never know who really is going to support you in your journey towards wherever you want to go.
Wow, thank you, Viktoriya. Well, we have a couple of questions from somebody that we both know and very dear. Stoyan has just wanted to ask, fantastic episode, Vicky. 2020, you probably had to go through major digital transformation with your organization. How do we lead people with care through times of change? What lessons did you learn?
Okay, so Stoyan, thank you very much for asking this question. Just to tell you, this is one of my failures in 2020. I dedicated to work and to doing so much that my team in 2020, when we made an internal survey between us, they told me that they felt a little bit disconnected. So really be open to that negative feedback. We were just doing, and we were phenomenal. We won the top place in internal customer satisfaction in our company. So we did a good job, but between us, we lost connection. So there is a trade-off there. And what I would say is that some people say that screens are dividing us. To me, this is not exactly true if we put the effort. Because Marianne, where are you located now?
In Manchester, in the UK.
you're in Manchester and I'm in Sofia, and we're speaking, and I connect with you, no matter that we are so much far away. If there was not this technology, we wouldn't be able to do that, right? Even see each other, talk to each other.
Absolutely.
So to me, these are tools. Let's utilize the tools, and let's try take the best from them. I tried many things in 2020, like, from the comfort of my own bedroom, which is, the lonely room. I have led events for 400, for 500 people. And when you close the computer, you're just there alone. But the fact is, we do impact even through these channels, and we have to put the best efforts. One of the mistakes that I see people make is not prepare enough for online meetings and online conferences, because they believe, okay, it's online, I can really put my pajamas bottom and just show up. No, you have to prepare yourself to the best of yourself. You have to put the lighting on, you have to sit in the right way, you have to prepare your key messages, even with more dedication than before. So
Absolutely.
prepare.
Yeah, what a great advice and example of how you do things and part of your success. And Viktoriya, just to wrap up, as you inspire a lot of things regarding the resources and the learning, clearly the continuous improvement is critical to your success. One of the best investment is to invest in yourself. There's no other, I guess, alternative, because it's who you become. It's the prize, as opposed to the quantifiable thing that will come, because I believe it's levels. If you want to be a millionaire or billionaire or have a certain type of car or a home, it depends very much on your level. If your level is such that you can plan, you just don't take a lot of actions, that level will prevent you from having some of those this environment that you may wish for. I call environment because having a nicer car, office or a home, it's an environment that improves. But if you go on a higher level where you serve better, your attitude changed, you do the best as you can do every time you show up and learn and continuously invest in yourself, you go into a different level. And even if you don't have a car, if you have a car and give it away to someone, your level will bring back the car again, because it's the level that grants you to have this access, and that because of your servant.
But Marianne, if you allow me here, because we are talking about all the time about changes, transformations, learning new things, I want to show you something that I found in one course, and I then doodled it.
Sure, please.
I really want to share with you. There are things which you should not change and you should not make compromise with. And this is what I want to show you.
Values. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I hope you can see well values, but what are the white dots? The white dots are compromises. The more compromises you make on your values, the more diluted your values are. So if you want the stability in your life, it's not the work, it's not the job that we have to stick on to. It's not, 9 to 5 or all night long or whatever. This is something that we need to stick to. This is what is going to give us the sense of stability. So if I can ask anybody to make this exercise and to really think and write down what they think that their values are, then write 10 of those, then delete 5 and see which 3 to 5 come up. And these are our cornerstones. This is our stability. This is where it comes from.
I love that. And I know, by the way, some people say, yeah, what about if values evolve and change? Well, actually, maybe they evolve and change because you didn't know who you were. And when you find out who really you were, I think they will become a cornerstone, to the things to who you are. And I think
we are all learning about ourselves while we speak. And by the way, the best way to learn about ourselves is to talk to other people. This is very undervalued. We learn about ourselves and we are like, I'm going to look inside me, I'm going to reflect, whatever. Go and speak to other people. See how you're seen. Make yourself a board of directors of people who are going to give you a feedback about yourself. An honest and open and really not creative, but how is the word in English? I'm not very sure, but to build you up. They're going to tell you how to build up.
I love that. In fact, one of the things that we have done my passion is with young people. Personal passion is to help young people, and as a co-founder of Leader Academy, we've been helping young people for the last 20 years, and really we have developed some fantastic, really programs, and they've evolved continuously. And one of the things that we have developed as a tool to help young people discover who they are is actually exactly that process. We get to know from the people around them how they're seen, what they think their strengths are, and that's so useful. And really, when you look at, that's one of the most important, is you gotta find out how the people see you, so you can start and say why, and you start to kind of self-discover. And the other thing is when they go into the programs, they learn from each other, but also they're tailored, curated programs that led by a fantastic, really people and trainers that are passionate about helping young people, like Andrei, Iliev, like Stoyan Yankov, that are making a profound difference to the future generation.
This is why we invite Stoyan and other leaders like him talk to our colleagues in our bank, by the way. So I'm very happy that we have a very caring management and human capital people, because we are constantly investing in that, and this is fantastic, and this is a resource that young people can really use in big organizations like ours.
Absolutely, and that's so important, because when you go and just learn and discover, that's the foundation of what you want to do, about your mission, about your passions. If you find out what your passion are, you don't know what your passions are unless you try many things.
Absolutely.
So create an environment where, I love to say, like a buffet. You go into a buffet, you try a lot of different food, but then when you come back for a second round, you only pick the things you like. Or try new ones.
Yeah, Marianne, let me give you an example, which is because you are saying about big organizations and about young people. What we have, for instance, we didn't discover the hot water, but I find it very useful. Our management board has a millennial board.
Oh, I love that. What a great thing.
Yes, I think soon we probably will have to have also a Zillennial board with the generation Z.
I think so, and I don't know what's after that. After Z,
yes.
I need to think of.
The thing is, when you are at a certain level, you have to open yourself to listening to what the new generation is saying. And I love this, because with this example, our board is open to the advice of the younger generation. So there are such examples which give you the idea that you do have an opportunity. You do have an opportunity.
And my advice, guys, when you're in your 20s, try things. It doesn't matter if you fail, if you do things. Try, and because you form a very strong opinion about what you like, what you don't like. And then in your 30s, come back and start to really focus on the things you really like doing. Focus on your passion. If you discover that in your 20s, you're even luckier, to be honest, but because simply you have more time to enjoy it. That's the way I see things. You can do and it kind of really, but I think with the advancement of medicine and science, our lives are likely to go way beyond 100 years. We could be easily 150 plus. So make sure that's coming. Take care of your physical, mental, etc., and your learning, but spiritual above all as well. But also, what is important is to make sure you have a life that is worth living for that long, because a lot of people don't have the lives that are worth living for such a long life. So, and I think don't just look at see things. So on one end, it's kind of controversial, but it's kind of a sequence. You try things, but when you find the thing you really love, and whatever you try, give your best. That's I absolutely agree with you, and that's important, because you never know. I also believe that it depends on the managers and the circumstances that may define one thing you like and not like. So you may try it in same thing with different setup, maybe completely different feeling, because you may have loved somebody as a caring leader, the other one didn't care, and you would have not had that time. So be mindful of those things, and at the same time, whenever you find that, give your best and stick to it, because the problem I see with a lot of people, they try things for 2 years, they move on. If that's all of your life, or 4 years or 3 years, you know what? At the end of your life, you would have collected, I don't know, 20, 30 experiences. That's very helpful, but you would have not become exceptional in anything. So just make that decision. Do I want to be some of the best in the world in the thing I believe in, or do I want to be just trying different things? And that's a choice. Nobody can answer what's good or not for you. You might want to be there and just continuously get stimulation from the outside. But I personally believe that it comes from the inside out, not from the outside in. It helps the things that you receive outside by discovery and so forth. But when you have that deep confidence, deep calm and direction from the source, then some very powerful things happen. You're unshakable. You know exactly where you stand. You know your values. You know where you're heading. And that's why sometimes you say, who are those people that have it all? And don't settle. You can have it all. But you know what my advice? If you try to do one by one things, I get money, I'll sort out money for the next 10, 20 years, I'll work a career, then I'll try family, it won't work. No. You gotta get all of it, and that comes from blessing. You gotta be blessed to be able to get this and really be intentional for what you do, and know the keys. Your life can be like a living wonder if you know the keys to life. And more to come on this, but I wanted to first of all say thank you so much for making the time today. It's an hour almost past, and it's just like I felt like we're just starting. What a great conversation, Viktoriya. Anything that you wanted to if any final comments that you wanted to add and really share. And before that, I have one more question about the 3 most impactful books you've read in the past 24 months. I just want to make sure I get this one as well.
Okay, so about the books, let me see. I have one. So no, it's not with me, but I'm trying to learn now more about sustainability. So I give you 3 books about sustainability, which I believe could be very useful to all of us to read. I see one of those. So one of those is the Bill Gates How to Avoid Climate Disaster. Yep. So this one is in Bulgarian, but you can find it everywhere.
Yep.
Why I find this book relevant? Because it's like a textbook. It's really like a textbook. If you know nothing about net zero, climate change, whatever, read this book, and then you'll be fine.
Fantastic.
You don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to agree.
Of course.
But I ask you one thing from this book. What was the temperature you think when the dinosaurs live in the world? How much degrees above this one?
Oh, wow. My guess it would be, I don't know, 60 degrees Celsius.
So the average temperature when the dinosaurs lived has been only 4 degrees above today's.
Wow. Okay.
Which means that whatever we do today, we have to be very careful, because we can really make it or break it for the future generations.
So what you're saying is, I was very optimistic when giving intense. It's even 1 degree makes a difference. It makes an absolute difference. So thank you for sharing that.
I'm not a climate advocate or whatever. It's just, let's think about our impact. Think about our impact, and I believe that we can do better. The second book that I want to recommend is, because it's lunchtime, so Donut Economics.
Oh, I love that.
Written by an Oxford professor. And I really love this book because it shows how we need to think about economics in the new era. Again, related to the topic of sustainability, and donut because I'm a little bit hungry now, probably as the others. I will think about the third one, but to finish your other question, and to finish, to complete your story about how you need to give our best. Actually, I made the connection in my blog. I wrote an article which was called "Do Your Best and Pray for Luck," and and the inspiration behind it was a news. In the news, there was huge announcement about these 10 Sherpas which managed to climb K2, this very difficult peak during the winter time. And they were explaining, I mean, it was a big feat that they did. It was phenomenal what they did, because they organized themselves, they trained themselves, they went step by step by step by step, and they really gave it their best, and they completed something that has not been done before easily. So it was during the winter time. So complete feat they did. And there was one thing in the news that was with small letters, and it was the weather was, I don't know how they put it. The weather was very good. So they didn't expect such a good weather. And this is why I said, do your best, but pray for luck. Because when you do your best, sometimes the luck is with you, and exceptionally good weather can help you.
Well, the prayer makes a big difference. So I completely agree with you, Viktoriya. Do your best and pray to God for giving you the strength and power to do exceptional thing and serve in the best possible way and find your purpose and divine mission in life. Love really what you do and what you have done. Thank you so much for making the time today. And it's been a fantastic, really, episode of learning so much and hearing about all this stories. Very well prepared. We can see, inspired. You addressed a lot of different audiences. Once again, thank you so much, and God bless you and your family and your organization.
Thank you. Best of luck to the audience, and be healthy most of all.